Picture this. You get out of bed on Christmas Day. You sprint full speed into the living room, eager to open your presents. You cheer at the top of your lungs upon seeing them all, surely waking the whole house up in the process, right? Then you hurl yourself like a cannonball into the nearest pile of gifts. It's everything a child could want. Life is complete and total bliss. Then a cold voice says, "Cut!" And you're told to take it again from the top. You've been doing this for what feels like hours now. This is your Groundhog Day. Or should I say, this is your White Christmas. If you've ever caught FOMO from seeing an influencer's Christmas on social media, this video is definitely for you. By the time you're done watching it, the feeling will be completely gone, or your money back. Okay, this channel is actually not monetized, but I promise you, you'll never look at those holiday posts the same way again. Earlier this year, with the TikTok ban looming in the horizon for the United States, a lot of influencers decided to come clean, right? About their holidays. It turns out everything from the impossibly perfect decor to the festive routines was staged for clout. The mountains of presents that seemed stolen straight out of a festive cartoon, only there for likes and shares. The designer brand boxes were completely empty. None of it was real, but that's just scratching the surface. The real story is how much it sucked for the kids. And if you want to know the juicy details on that, you need to hear it from someone with firsthand experience. Me, I'm the first-hand experience, sorry. So I've got an influencer in my family, and not just any influencer, a momfluencer, and we're gonna call her Elsa. Before you ask, she isn't my real mom, but we are related by blood, and she did pretend that I was her daughter for the sake of her content. So the trauma is still feels very close to home. Elsa was a medical school student, and she is insanely spoiled. Her father was the CEO of a company, and her mother was the head of a sorority, so she got everything that she ever wanted. The worst thing that's ever happened to her was her losing a dog, which I'm not saying isn't a bad thing to happen, don't get me wrong, but there's like a lot worse things that can happen to you out there. When I was young, she basically treated me like a dress-up doll. At first, it was just putting me in pretty clothes and making me twirl around for the camera. But as her following grew, so did her demands. When the holidays rolled around, she'd spend weeks recording and re-recording the festivities. Kids always say, I wish Christmas could last forever, but I know the real pain of a Christmas that never ends. It's not a dream come true. It's a waking nightmare. When I tell you that she micromanaged everything, I mean everything, down to the order of the gifts that we opened. If I forgot to reach for one of the brand deal gifts first, she'd make us start all over again. And if I dared to say that I was sick of performing and that I wanted to get up and actually do things on Christmas, she'd guilt trip me. Like, think of all of the children who'd been watching you because they didn't have a good Christmas. You don't want to let them down, do you? Also, most of the brand name gifts weren't gifts at all. Elsa would just buy herself stuff, then dress it up like they were presents from me or her parents. No child can afford to give their mother a designer bag for Christmas. Not unless they worked in a sweatshop to make it themselves. I can barely afford a Lululemon jacket right now as an adult, okay? But there I was pretending my cousin was my mother and somehow managed to get her multiple articles of their clothing. I can only imagine the FOMO other children must have felt. Too young to have worked a day in their lives and already sad that they couldn't afford their mom such nice things. The gifts for the kids to open were a sham too. The stuff we opened on camera wasn't even what we actually received. And we weren't allowed to even open our real gifts until everything had been recorded to her picture-perfect standards. Of course, it didn't stop with the unwrapping of the presents. There had to be a multi-course meal she could film with us sitting down as well. It took days to plan the menus and prep the food to look juicy and perfect. Like something from a commercial where they smear shoe polish on the chicken to make it look extra crispy. One year, she even considered getting a soap replica of the main course just to avoid the possibility of somebody messing up the real deal. God forbid we actually want to eat the damn thing, okay? But the worst, and I mean the worst part, for me was having to wrap gifts. It was all hands on deck for gift wrapping. That was fine for my mom and Elsa and her sisters. They'd all worked at Saks Fifth Avenue, so they knew how to wrap things up with a neat little bow. But I was a child. I couldn't wrap a gift to save my life. It was so humiliating. I only had to handle a few gifts each year, but Elsa would make me wrap them over and over again until I made literally 0 mistakes. Never mind all of this stress and the paper cuts on my little fingies. By the time I turned 13, I was absolutely done with Christmas. Elsa's antics had worn me down. I was this close to going fully Tachi and testing my abilities on my extended family. This all came to a head one year. Elsa was getting everything ready to shoot. She'd picked out a dress for me to put on, and I said that I didn't want to wear it. And like the reasonable, well-adjusted adult relative she is, she proceeded to throw a fucking tantrum and cry. But I had had enough. So I grabbed her by the wrist. I told her I was gonna finish getting ready, and she had that long to clean up and get over herself. Even though I wouldn't be wearing her stupid dress, she was an adult, and if anyone had a right to be crying, it was me, not her. Then I walked away. I passed my aunt, Elsa's mother, in the hallway, and I just stared at her for a moment before moving on. I didn't know what else to say. Imagine bawling your eyes out like a toddler because I was sick of being treated like a doll. If anyone had a right to break down like that, it would be me. You poisoned Christmas for me for years, but I changed one little detail about your clout-chasing holiday charade, and suddenly I'm the asshole? Reddit wouldn't agree with this. No, grow up. I received socks and body wash that Christmas, by the way. That was Elsa being petty. Between viewership and sponsors, she was raking in thousands from YouTube alone. My actual mother said that I should forgive Elsa because she was unemployed at the time. My mother conveniently skipped over the part where Elsa was living in a $2 million mansion, and her father just paid another $8 million to have it renovated that year. Yet, she still chose to be petty. If she could afford to do it, then so could I. That was the last time I pretended to be okay with everything. I was tired of being an actor in someone else's Christmas fantasy. I was sick of giving her things that she'd bought herself wrapped up like gifts from the family. My own room wasn't even mine to decorate because Elsa had to show off her stupid brand deals. Even Christmas movies were off the table because I swear to God, my family thinks the C in C-STAN stands for Christmas. All I ever wanted was to have a normal Christmas, to sleep in, open presents, and not have to worry about saying my lines without looking into the camera. Which is funny because that's what I do right now. Anyways, that's not the point. Kids should have light and joy in their eyes, not just the reflection of 3-point lighting. They say that you should spend Christmas with your family and people that you love. But if you're anything like me, those might not always be the same thing. So don't worry about having the picture-perfect Christmas with lots of expensive gifts. Drinking cocoa and watching holiday movies can mean just as much, as long as you're doing it with the people you really love. Happy holidays, roomies! I hope that you all have a wonderful Christmas. I love you! What? And be at peace.